What's good, family? For a while now, while doing this, or attempting to do this rather, I haven't had the right equipment. I haven't had much to really invest. That's a lie. I've had a lot to invest, but I really haven't had the discipline with my finances or with my money to really make this grow. Mostly because I didn't really fully have the vision. I don't believe I had enough time with the vision to truly create it. Um, I just never really realized how many little features and things went into having your own business, writing books, or really understanding the full grasp of how to make a good website, which I've yet to really do. At least I feel like I really haven't done yet. Um, Life is crazy. So this video is entitled Leap of Faith because there's a lot of things in life, whether you're moving or going through a rough patch in a relationship, or we want to break up, or on the other side, maybe you want to get married, you know, quitting a job or starting a new career. There's a lot of really intense changes that we go through in life that I really do not feel like there's an adequate resource to provide guidance or support or mentorship or any sense of knowledge within that field. I know the first time I took my leap of faith back in about 2014, 2015, I was about 21, 22, and I went to Ohio with $100 in my pocket. Famous story. But it was rough. And I really didn't know resources. I didn't have any welfare or any like food stamps or anything like that. I didn't really have too many financial backers. All the money I had, I really kind of had until I started to make really good friends and made deeper connections with people, and then they wanted to support me. Of course, then, but before I really got to that step, it was really rough. I mean, I was nice enough to have friends that allowed me to stay with them. I was nice enough to have people in my life that didn't really quite understand what I was doing or what I was talking about, but wanted to see me do it so they could understand it. Instead of not understanding it and wanting to stop it, as most people do, they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what it's going to take for you to be successful. There's all these intangibles, all these variables in place. They want to help you kind of sort through the variables, not because they have any stake in you getting there, but because they would like to just see your dream come to fruition. You know, um, there were two things in my life that kind of got me very distracted. The first thing was being a little younger and being picked up by the communist, socialist, anarchist movements, the LGBT movement. Not because I don't support these people or don't love these people, but I don't feel like I don't feel like we're any more ideologically aligned. I see the benefits of every single political system, and I would love to work on something to really better demonstrate the necessity for each political strategy, if you will, rather than party or anything like that. It's more like methodology than anything else. And that's just kind of what we're trying to do here. They're talking about how we all have to gather together. I still believe in that. The collectivist mentality rather than socialist or communist. Just collectivism, mutualism. Everyone has to work together to make this dream come true. If we're going to make decisions, we're going to make decisions together. Versus the democratic, everyone votes and whoever wins, wins. Or the fascist, which isn't really too much different, which is just, you're going to do what I say. Liberty is a lot more than just financial liberty because our lives are a lot more than just money. And I think most of us have forgotten this. I think most of us are completely lost to the idea of this. We do not understand anymore that our lives, our value, our worth, our fun, everything. It's more than just money. It is definitely most certainly the things that you buy with money, but the things that you buy with money, you did not always need money for. It's 2018. Most of us are 50 or 70 or 20. And this is the only life that we've ever known. Most of us have never done research. Most of us have never really studied history. The present day is the only day they ever known. I don't blame anyone for that. I really can't. But for those of us who do see a pattern and see an issue and see a problem, there has to be so much more to liberty and freedom than money for us specifically, because we would never really align if that was always our limitation. I feel like most of us are so distant or want to be so distant from it that we're really seeking, when we talk about liberty or talk about financial freedom, we're not just talking about having enough money to be free or be escaped from everything. We're talking about a life that is free from money to begin with. A life that when you swipe your debit card, not even your credit card, you're still worried and scared and frantic because you don't know if it's going to be approved or not. You're not supposed to live like that. There's so little space available to the average person to just grow your own food because everything is so bureaucratic nowadays, or just so eliminating the idea of independence or self sufficiency or interdependence outside of the business arena. I mean, individuals still do this, groups still do this, people still manage to have a barter system, but it is far less accepted and understood because we're so worried about paying bills or paying rent or giving somebody else our money so they can live this self-masturbatory fantasy of being a millionaire or being a billionaire. And that is the other side of things that I will get into, and just kind of like being more realistic about life, learning more about financial literacy, learning more about discipline, learning more about what it takes to really be a man, whether someone gets angry with that or not. I don't really care what you're going through. But me, as a young man, I'm becoming a man, and that is something that I am struggling with because there's so many different ideologies and ideas of what being a real man is that you really have to combat and battle on a day-to-day basis, and no one really gives a fuck about, so you struggle in silence. um, a lot of the things that I learned on the other side of things within fascism, within capitalism, within understanding how to master and like achieve over capitalism, it's very shallow, it's very vapid, it is very materialistic. And if you don't have the materialism, if you don't have that kind of like dull, bland appeal that anybody can fit into your circle or anybody can be around you, you're not going to really survive. And it worships creativity, but it doesn't really worship innovation. Innovation is still misunderstood in the same sense as before. That when you really create something that is true and dear to your heart, you are the only person in the world who shares that experience with that piece of art. Those are facts. People can sympathize or empathize from that standpoint, but you are the sole person who really understands why those words are written or why those colors were used or why it had to be that kind of fabric or what have you, whatever it is that you're doing. It's been very difficult for me to really find a place of dedication to be a part of growing up because everyone just seems so content with mediocrity. Everyone seems so content with this form of slavery. Everyone seems content with just complaining about every single day of their life, and this almost blind acceptance or this willful blindness that there's nothing that they can do to fix it, or they do not know what to do to fix their life, so they just won't. It becomes this world in which you're surrounded by broken people or hurt people or people that have to feel superior or people that always feel like they have to compete or someone who is abused so they're constantly defensive, or they were abused and now they're the abuser and now they're offensive. You're dealing with so much individualism in the name of capitalism, in the name of money, in the name of wealth, in the name of liberty, that we're not having the freedom to do things that are good for us or for other people. We have a lot of freedom and a lot of liberty to do things that will harm us, that will destroy us, that we only do to, this is the irony of it, that we only do to fit in with other people. So where is the true freedom within all this? You know, we're taught to do things with money that don't turn an investment. They don't turn a profit. Nothing comes back to you. You know, we spend our entire life giving our money to dead gates, things that don't come back to us. And we accept this blindly. And it's almost in this acceptance in which we don't want to know. We rather complain or blame anything else other than ourselves, or the other way around, people only blame themselves. They only see what they do wrong. And there is no room for what someone else might have done because they don't want to be affected by that to such a large degree that when even the world is affecting them negatively, or they're affecting the world negatively, they won't really bother themselves to change or do anything to fix it. That's not okay. I know it's a widely accepted culture thing. I know a lot of people are like that, and it's very easy to be like that. But when I took this leap of faith and I created the writing lifestyle, I did so with the idea that we would no longer, at least I personally, I really cannot focus on saving the entire world, but I personally can find and live a life that's free from this, that's free from hatred, that's free from racism, that's free from negativity, that's free from just all the demagoguing and all the financial stress and all the drama of dealing with people's egos and dealing with people who don't want to change, dealing with people who do not want to create or who don't want to inspire creation or inspire change and positive change, not just negative change, not just complaining. You know, I'm looking for, I want something that's going to build skills that will be of real service to people, not just choosing something because I have to, not just doing something because if I don't, I'm going to die. You know, I'm not saying I want a life of immortality. That's not really realistic either. You know, I don't mind the struggles that come with life, but there's a lot of needless death in the world revolving around nothing else other than pride or wrath. You know, when I created Novel Lead in the writing lifestyle, I just imagined an easier way for all this to happen. An easier way to make money, an easier way to learn skills, an easier way to promote and distribute the things that you're working on, an easier way to connect with people, an easier way to really understand who you are and how being yourself can be the greatest contribution to society that you can ever imagine. Rather than being yourself, being this almost hermetic, just withdrawal from society, or in the opposite, this utter rejection of society to feed one's own vanity and ego. There's a better way. I don't think many people have shown it. I don't think many people believe that it exists. I don't think too many people have practiced it. I don't think too many people have really went through the struggles and went through the dark side of the soul, the dark side of the moon, in order to really see who it is they are as a person, to see how they've been hurting society, let alone to really understand what they can be doing to help it. Because the things that we can do to really grow and be better do not become do not come before, my apologies for that, do not come before this demise and this destruction and just the normal trials and tribulations and adversity of existing on a planet, existing within the universe within itself, existing within this image of God's peace, satisfaction that you're never going to fulfill. It's not meant to be easy, but it's also not meant to be like this at all.